The art of persuasion. Just a heads up, this training is info heavy, so we will be sending out copies of the slides and the BDA optimization training video from Edge and a one sheet on blood optimization. So lots of information coming out to you for any questions that you might have later on. There are many ways to utilize the power of persuasion to help serve our life-saving mission. We can use our skills in caring communication to help maximize our efforts. Some ways we will review on this training are donation preparation, donation maximization, donor rebooking, and volunteer recruitment. Persuasion with care often involves being curious, being concerned, and answering any questions to help support somebody making a decision. As we review the acts of persuasion, keep in mind when you show someone that you genuinely care, you can persuade them more easily. Persuasion is a critical part of blood services. It involves effectively communicating the importance of blood donation and motivating individuals to take action. Here are some key methods to persuade potential donors. Establish your credibility. People are more likely to be persuaded by someone they trust. Find common ground. Understand your audience's challenges and what they care most about. Provide evidence. Back up your claim by obtaining knowledge and expertise. Connect emotionally. Connect on a deeper level by showcasing your passion. Just a reminder, please make sure you're on mute. Trust, credibility, and transparency by clearly communicating eligibility and being honest about blood donation process, and have knowledge and connect with donor attitudes such as their thoughts of blood donation, their fears, and their misunderstandings. Try using an emotional appeal by sharing stories with individuals whose lives have been saved by blood donations to evoke purpose and compassion. This, of course, works well to ease and connect with first-time donors, especially. Does anyone have a touching blood donation story that you would like to share? Much like Rebecca and I's mission moment that we just spoke about earlier, please feel free to write something in the chat or come off mute.
I think Sherry Dawn has her hand raised. Oh, no, she doesn't. Oh, good. I don't see anything in the chat yet.
Elijah?
Elijah, I don't think your mic's working. Feel free to go ahead and type utilizing the chat. I'm going to pick on another staff member here. Let's see, because I know you guys have one because you wrote one down. Let's do Waverly.
Hi.
Hi.
What did you need me to share?
A mission moment.
So the one that I shared on my slides, I'm sure I have a few, was I did the Betty Bazaar naming event, and it was just exciting to see everybody go there. I'm new to the Red Cross. I guess I'll introduce myself, but I'm the supervisor for BBW in the SoCal region. So it was just really exciting to see the Pomona site, and that's where they have the lab. And so I was able to join folks on the tour, and there were a lot of donors that also joined that were really excited to see that whole process of how they collect the blood and get it out to those that need it. So that was my mission moment that I shared.
Thanks for sharing. Do we have one in the chat?
Just from Elijah. They said, I volunteered because my first donation, I was scared and I want to help people like me. I love that. You can go ahead and move on, Helen.
All right. All right, so first off, preparation. In order to be successful with our efforts, basic needs have to be met. By a show of hands, how many of you have ever heard of Maslow's hierarchy of needs? Few of you have. All right, if you've ever taken an Psych 101 class, you might have heard of this. Maslow's hierarchy of needs is a theory that organizes human needs into a pyramid with each level representing a different category of need. Psychological needs, the most basic needs such as food, water, shelter, and sleep. Safety needs, the need for security, stability, and freedom from fear. Social and belonging needs, the need for friendship, intimacy, and acceptance. Esteem needs, the need for respect, recognition, status, and self esteem. And self actualization needs, the need for one to feel that they have achieved their full potential and creativity. Basic needs are always the first priority in customer service and beyond. Since you are the first person a donor sees when they arrive to donate, your involvement in meeting those needs is essential. Here are examples of donor needs and questions that you can ask a donor to promote them. Hydration. When you're well hydrated, your donation goes quicker and easier. A question that you might ask is, may I offer you some water while you wait? Elimination. I'm sure you have been drinking a lot of liquids to get ready to donate. A question it might ask is, might you need to use the restroom prior to your donation? Medication. As you know, taking certain medications can prevent you from being able to donate today. Would you like to review the list of deferral medications? Relaxation. Many donors relax to their favorite tunes during their donation. Have you got any good tunes to listen to on the donor bed? Let's discuss donation optimization and how the art of persuasion fits in. One of the best ways to elevate our life-saving mission here at the Red Cross is by urging donors to upgrade their donation. There are 3 ways to upgrade donations, and only certain blood types are preferred to be optimized. Do you know which ones they are? So could any of you take a guess in the chat, or if you'd like to come off mute if you think you know? There are 4 preferred types, blood types. For Power Red, we're going to start with Power Red that serves trauma victims, newborns, and anemia.
O negative.
Okay. Rebecca, do you have some in the chat?
O positive, O negative, and then we have O positive, O negative, A negative, B negative, O positive, O negative, A negative, and A positive.
All right, are you ready for the answer? Here we go. We got A negative, B negative, O negative, and O positive. Did we have any winners on that one?
We didn't have losers, that's for sure.
All right, how about platelets? What are the preferred types of blood for platelets? There are also 4 of these.
AB positive,
O negative.
Vivian says O negative 2. O positive. That's all I have in the chat, Helen.
All right. We got A positive, A negative, B positive, and B negative. All right. So moving on here, we are talking plasma now, and we have 2 preferred blood types for plasma. Let's see if any of you know this one. As we know, plasma helps with trauma and stops bleeding.
I'm going to pick on a staff again.
We got some stuff, I think, in the chat, huh?
Let's see. O negative, AB. Elise saw that. O negative and AB. Let's see. Who's right?
All right. We got AB positive and AB negative. Awesome.
Dylan got it just in time.
Good job. Good job, everyone. All right. Did you know Red Cross leadership is asking blood donor ambassadors to inform, educate, and motivate donors to consider optimizing their blood donation? You can use the power of persuasion to inform donors that with a Power Red donation, they can save by donating half as often while still doing the best for patients by donating in a way that is proven to help people feel better after their donations, which is pretty cool. Explain the guidelines and benefits to the donor, including less frequent donations, streamlined wait times, fewer contacts to call to donate, the smaller needle, as you see in the little star right there, and the opportunity to give the most in-demand product-packed red blood cells that can make a bigger impact. For example, you can use this pitch here. Did you know that you can make a super-powered impact with your blood donation? Want to double your impact? Consider a Power Red donation. Now it's your turn. I hope that you'll play along here. I would like to invite one of you to raise your hand to be a donor that qualifies for Power Red. And I want to invite another one of you to be the blood donor ambassador to approach a donor to upgrade their donation. So if someone could at least come off mute, and how would you address a donor that can qualify, is highly qualified for a Power Red donation? Some of you might have done this before. How would you approach it? Please share in the chat or come off mute. This is interactive.
I'm going to call on Anna Marie Gonzalez.
Okay, you got me.
I got you. So Anna Marie is a rep here in SoCal as well, and she actually was, help me use the correct terminology here,
Donor Center Coordinator.
and she helped with our platelets. So let's see if you have a Power Red pitch, Anna Marie.
So I'm pitching a Power Red or platelets. I'm asking a donor if they want to convert from a regular donation to a Power Red donation.
Right.
Yes.
Okay, gotcha. Hi, welcome to Red Cross. Thank you for coming in today. Did you know that your blood type is an ideal candidate for our Power Red donation? You could optimize your time today. It will take a little longer, but we can take a more concentrated amount of red blood cells so your donation can go a lot further and help save more lives. You have some extra time today? Ding, ding.
Love it. Thank you.
Okay.
Anyone in the chat?
No, we just had a question on what they are donating in the first place. So just to address that, I did kind of type a little bit out here. Whole blood donations are the most common type of donations. So chances are we are trying to convert whole blood donors. If you are at a platelet center and you see someone on platelets that is more likely to make an impact on power reds and we have appointments, we don't want to say no to those platelets though. Each of these apheresis machines are really important. So when you're upgrading donations, upgrade it from a whole blood donation, not from other apheresis types. Power Reds can save 6 lives. No, so Power Reds do not save 6 lives. What Power Reds do is they allow us to take 2 units of concentrated red cells. And so it's still 2 units, but it's all one donor in a bag. And that's really great for somebody, say, who has like sickle cell anemia, who's receiving that transfusion, because if they need multiple donations of those red cells, it would be from the same donor. And that decreases the chance of the donor having an adverse reaction from that blood transfusion.
All right, let's move on to platelet and plasma persuasion. For platelets and plasma, educate donors that this option is at our many donor centers. Most platelets are often used directly for the treatment of cancer patients in the area because they can only be stored for up to 5 days. It does take about 2 hours connected to an apheresis machine, but you get to watch a movie or take a cozy nap in that time. It is not so much about getting the donor to change their appointment to one of these donations that same day, but by keeping asking, you may get somebody to come back later and upgrade their donation. We want to lean in with care, then knowledge, then care. So with care, we want to be sincere and meet people where they are. Knowledge, explain why what we are doing benefits them, and care at the end with positivity. Here is a pitch that you can use for platelet or plasma persuasion. Did you know you are an ideal candidate for a platelet slash plasma donation? Consider increasing your impact by donating platelets to help as many as 4 cancer or trauma victims. Any of you, staff included, have a pitch that you can use, or with a sample pitch that our wonderful volunteers on the call might be able to use, or a volunteer that might have used a pitch before? Share. Rebecca, do we have anything in the chat? You just go ahead and read whatever we have.
Sorry, I was going through. Then Janet says, I'm a platelet donor. Anytime I come in to donate, the Red Cross employees advise me of what I qualify for to donate.
All right. Okay, we'll move on. So how many of you help support by contacting donor no-shows? By a show of hands, do any of you help support with no-shows? Perhaps calling no-shows on your phone or texting them? Few of
I
us?
have 2 hands raised.
2 hands.
We're not going to call you to come off mute. You
Yeah,
raised your
don't worry,
hand
we
for
won't
this.
call you to come off mute. We've got it. Yeah, okay. All right, so we can help persuade a no-show to show up later or on another date. It may be easy to give up hope on a no-show, but it's easy to convince them to show using the art of persuasion. Here's a persuasive script that you can use that uses caring communication. Always check in with a charge nurse before you contact no-shows to find out if they can be accommodated on that day, or you would need to reschedule them on a donor tablet for a future drive. One thing that you can say, and you will have the script for later, I know that a lot of our blood drives, the charges love when you do this in Southern California. Here's something that you can use. Hi, I'm a volunteer from the American Red Cross. Thank you for scheduling the appointment to donate blood. I'm calling to see if you still plan to donate today. We do have a critical need and we can use your support. Can we get you rescheduled for this drive or another drive in the area? I'm sure we can find one that can fit into your busy schedule. If you cannot make it in today, we completely understand. And then you would give them the opportunity to sign up online, or with your donor tablets, which we're going to talk more about later, you can get them signed up and scheduled right then and there. So hopefully more of you do get involved with this, connect with your charge nurses and see if they would like that help, that support. Anybody who has experience with this, feel brave enough to get off mute and talk about it?
Was the question about calling people for no-shows?
Yes.
Oh, did you want us to comment on it, or?
Yeah, if you've ever had any experience, how have you done it?
So usually it's actually I've done it when we've been in a desperate situation and a lot of no-shows haven't happened, but usually I don't. So I feel like I should make a better routine of it. But what I've done, because it's the easiest, is to text people first, and then
Mhm.
and if then we do need like to get to a certain number, then I might call people.
I agree. That's great.
But yeah, text is
Texting
the
is good.
most what's it called? Like this is the easiest way.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think that texting is really good. It's not very invasive. Don't need to necessarily do a phone call, but it is nice to show that you notice that they were not there, and if they have time to come in and the drive is slow enough that they can come in or you can reschedule them, then do so. Excellent. Thank you for sharing.
Basically, what I've done is if the charge nurse says something, I have no problem texting them first. And if they respond, I will call them directly and talk to them and let them know what's going on and ask them to come in or ask them if they have time to come in.
Excellent. Absolutely. Yeah, one thing with a phone call is that you can, get to that date really easily.
It's more personal that way too.
Definitely, definitely. But texting initially is a really good idea as well. Thank you so much, both of you. All right. Yet another way you can make a difference by using the power of persuasion is by helping support volunteer recruitment in your area. Of course, Red Cross donors make excellent and highly passionate volunteers. So use caring communication to convince donors that by volunteering with the American Red Cross, they can truly make a difference in a variety of ways. Encourage donors to find out about a variety of opportunities, including becoming a blood donor ambassador like yourselves. Donors are usually running out the door on their way out, but if you spot one that may be a good target to become a volunteer, do approach them. Any of you have done that? I know we have a large initiative. We've had a large initiative called All In the SoCal area. Any of you have approached any donors that seemed like they might be a good fit to become a volunteer in the past?
I'm a recruiter for the Red Cross in Riverside and San Bernardino County. So
Awesome.
I've been doing that I've been doing recruiting for almost over 4 years now. So I work with Joanna, and it's amazing how many people I've been able to bring in. And it's just art. It's just art of talking to each other.
Absolutely, absolutely. The volunteer to volunteer connection is very valuable. So I think it's kind of underutilized. And as I said, the quality of our volunteers that have that past history of being donors, it does increase because they're more likely to have a lot of passion for the cause. So please feel free to reach out to any people while you're there on your shift and tell them about the volunteer opportunity. All right. So we're going to move on to, and this might be a little bit of a review for some of you, but we're going to move on to Book Now Persuasion. And Book Now is a very, very big initiative here in our Southern California area, and I know it's growing in other places in the Pacific Division. If you're not familiar with it, it is where you utilize an iPad to reschedule donors for their next appointment. So this helps with fewer walk-ins. It increases their choices of appointment times, and it decreases their contacts to schedule to almost nothing. So the vampires won't be after them. And it actually decreases the no-show rate, which is humongous, by 80%, just by via that personal connection with between yourselves or the staff member. They're more likely to show up to the appointment instead of booking through their donor app, and it increases the donation rate. So inform donors that having donations scheduled ahead of time both allows for the best choice of appointment times and fewer contacts from the Red Cross by asking donors to give us to get scheduled. Book Now tool improves overall drive flow and allows for the most efficient use of donors' time. So we're back to our care knowledge care method. One thing that you could say is, thank you for dedicating time today to save lives. You can increase your impact by rebooking your next donation. If you book here with me, you'll have the best choice of times and you will not be contacted to book a future donation as you will already be booked. Now, hopefully, some of you have experience with Book Now and could speak to a little bit of what you have done in the past to convince a donor, probably that is sitting there at the hospitality area, to rebook their donation with you. Please feel free to come off mute or put something in the chat.
Hi, it's Beth.
Yeah.
And hi, how are you?
Good.
So usually I ask when they're at the canteen how today's donation went. And then I say, gee, I know you're usually the regular donors at the sites that I'm usually at. So I'll say, if you book today, I get a little credit for it. And oh, by the way, you get a choice of times, kind of using everything that you have already mentioned. And also, I point out that if they have the blood donor app on their phone, we can scan the QR code that comes up when they book, and it automatically puts it on their calendar, and they won't get calls. They'll just get a reminder email. And they seem to get pretty excited about that. And I find that I'm doing a lot of, I don't know if teaching's the right word, but teaching people about the blood donor app. So many of the people still rely on their card and they don't realize that their donor card is actually on the app as well. And then there's a lot of folks, it depends on whether I'm working a mobile site or at a donation center. The donation centers, most of the people that come there prefer to book their own because they don't know exactly when they can make it. But the folks that come to the mobile sites, especially the ones that are in that area regularly, are fairly willing to book in advance. And also because I can give them the dates, the future dates that we're going to be in this location, it gives them options.
Yes, and Beth is a superstar out of Southern California for Book Now. She gets a majority of the donors to sign up on large blood drives with almost up to 50 donors. She's getting the vast majority. So it is possible. Thank you so much, Beth. Does anybody else?
In the chat.
Yep.
So Eddie says, I try to catch them on the bed after they begin the donation. Vivian says, I just mentioned that there will be another blood drive in the next few months, and if they'd like to do it again, I can book them on the next drive. Elijah did ask, can I fill it out for them during the canteen time, or do I leave them alone? Yes, Elijah, you can fill it out for them. There is an option to click on that you are a volunteer, so that you can fill it out for them.
Absolutely.
And then you can stay engaged during that time. Caitlin says, ask how they're feeling after their donation. Ask if they would like to reschedule another donation. 75% schedule with me, 10% already have scheduled, and the others don't have a set schedule and wouldn't be able to know that far in advance. And Eddie says that his response usually works pretty well.
Excellent. Great. Well, we'll move on to an initial approach here. The best way to approach a donor to rebook a donation is always to lean in with the caring communication. So again, you want to approach them generally in the hospitality area when they have some time and say something like, well, you have a minute. If you would like, I can sign you up for your next appointment using our Book Now system. It will only take a few minutes and you'll be able to pick time and location you like best. And when you're already booked, you will not be contacted to donate. We'd love to see you save more lives. Now, how about if the donor says no thanks? So if the donor says no thanks, I'll just use my blood donor app to sign up for the next appointment. This happens, I'm sure, a lot. You may say, we are asking donors to schedule their next appointment right now, as appointments are filling up, and when you look at the app, there might not be as many open slots. We can sign you up right here if you'd like. So we're using that power of persuasion to try to persuade them to book on the donor. And then how about if they refuse and say something like, no, why should I schedule with you if you don't take me on time? Could say something like, I realize this is frustrating. I'm sorry you had to wait. By using Book Now, it helps us predict schedules and staffing, which we hope to provide a better experience. I appreciate your commitment to saving lives. So just know that no's are going to happen. It doesn't mean you're not doing a terrific job, and we always appreciate your effort. All right, we're going to wrap this up right now, and thank you so much. Just want to let you know that we are going to be providing you with some resources, because again, this is very information heavy. I know some of you might be really new, some of you might be veterans, and some of you might be just in the middle there and might not have all this information written down somewhere. So we're going to make sure that you do. And I'm going to hand it over to Rebecca, and she's going to talk about our additional training that we are hosting next month.
All right, to wrap us up here before we address just a couple things in the chat, we are going to be meeting in April, so we did need to skip January's meeting in honor of the fires, just to make sure that all of the volunteers out in Southern California can focus on their safety and their family and things that were happening. So we did move this out, or February, sorry, that was in February. We did move this out to March so that everyone can get settled back before having to attend the meetings. We do appreciate having all volunteers in the Pacific on the call, so we are more than happy to do that for any of these circumstances. So we are going to be picking